What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Cosmos, episode 22. I'm Dylan alongside Mila and Andrew. No Dari today. He is in the 66666. All the sixes, all the Drake references. Before we get into today's episode, follow us, please. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We are also on social medias, all of them, except for no, we're on all of them. We're on Facebook too, but I think we have no followers. Anyways, this week's episode, our neighbors can't beat us when we suck balls. That's funny. That's funny.
That's our
Um,
MLS Cup this year.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'll take it to the bank, dude. If you can't beat us at your lowest, like that, what does that say about you and your club?
Mm-hmm.
Trash. Also, their fans, trash. Everything, trash.
Trash.
And then we'll get into Houston. Pretty regular show here today. Nothing crazy. Let's get into it. Yeah, mixed bag, to say the least. But they cannot beat us. Down 2-0, and then down 3-1, and we came back both times and looked pretty freaking good at the end, which is like some optimism in a bottle. But let's let's try to do it chronologically before we get into Maya and Gabriel Peck. Try to do some justice to the way that the game felt, because I know that the ending was very, very sweet, but I don't actually think that's how it felt for 70 plus minutes. So yeah, Andrew, what did you take from the beginning of the game?
Yeah. First couple of minutes looked okay. I think we were all interested by seeing Fagundes out of the lineup. He had kind of been a mainstay for a little bit. The Sanabria step in there, and a pretty big game was a little bit different. Uh, Yeah, so that was interesting to me. We've talked a lot about it, but I was a really big fan of Fagundes and our build up and how he helps us retain the ball, how he helps us get the ball up to Painsel, Peck, Royce, and up further up the pitch in those dangerous areas. When we took him away, we had that double pivot with Cirio, Sanabria, and I don't. I mean, I've heard a lot of negative talk about Lucas Sanabria this season. I think a lot of it is for valid reasons, but to me, he looked okay. I would say, especially those first couple of minutes, I was a little bit impressed with how he brought up the ball. I don't think he missed a pass for around the first 40 minutes, which was most of his play time. He only played the first half, but he was pretty solid in getting the ball up. Uh, which was a big concern of mine. When you take out Fagundes, who's going to get the ball forward? Who's going to get it to Royce? I thought he did a decent job of getting it up to Royce. Of the two, of Sanabria and Cirio, he's the one who's going to go further up the pitch in possession. He's going to go try to support Gabriel Peck, just be an option. And that's where I have a little bit more of an issue with Sanabria's play style. I feel like he's a younger player. He's still, getting his bearings a little bit. And that's what it feels like. He's just not necessarily aware of where he is on the pitch, especially in relation to the opposing defenders. I would see him call for the ball when he's right in between two players or standing right next to a defender. So it's really hard for him to be involved in the play when he's not putting himself in positions to maybe receive the ball or be part of the play. So I'm not necessarily in love with how he came in and contributed when we're talking comparing that to someone like Diego Fagundes, who knows where to be, who knows how to move the ball around in places. So Narbio was good at laying off the ball, not so good in furthering the play after that. Marco Royce, I saw him drop deep a lot, especially, and that's again not something I'm necessarily a big fan of. Maybe because we don't have someone like Fagundes getting him the ball up. We saw Yamane also stepping into the midfield, maybe trying to support in that getting the ball up as well. So we did see lots of different changes, but I think it was a little bit choppy from us, not necessarily the best, not a lot going forward. I think I had a note here, about 10 minutes for us to actually get into LAFC's half, and that was just an Aude cross that Lloris caught. So even when we did get up, it wasn't necessarily as effective, and I think it all just stems from that change in the midfield. Defensively, I mean, it's just those counters. What are we going to do there? There's not too much to defend it. Maybe you can. There's some moments where you can call out Yamane, you can call out Garces, but all in all, I thought we defended okay behind the ball. It's just when you get caught out and when you let LAFC do what LAFC does, it's hard to defend that. So overall, it was okay. I would give it a 6.5, maybe out of 10 if I had to rate it, but not a
Yeah,
bad.
I really struggle sometimes with the thought process of Greg Vanney because I didn't think that Sanabria was really the issue, and I know that he's gonna get blamed because he was the new addition into the side, right? Like in terms of this starting 11, like he was the main change. I actually thought that he did well the first 20 minutes in terms of making the game dirty and kind of scummy and gross. Like I thought we needed to go in there and kind of punch them in the mouth a little bit. What I don't understand is how we continue to play Sanabria and Cerrillo, and those are two very. It's if you're gonna give Sanabria like an 8 role, like he is more a 6 than an 8 in my opinion. I think he just doesn't have the forward thinking and that capabilities yet to match that style of play. He's a shithouser who just runs around and he kind of kicks shins. And so we went into this game knowing that LAFC wanted to play on the counter. And then we held the ball for 60% of the match. And that really frustrates me because every single time the LAFC held the ball, it looked like shit. So when you play into the opposition's main card, and like I know this is more of an MLS thing because everybody does this with LAFC. Like there's a reason Denny Bwanga is so good. But the spaces that Denny Bwanga was getting, particularly in this match, really, really frustrates me. There is absolutely no reason that Yamane should be leaving Garces on an island. I don't care if the whole idea was to have Garces man marking Denny Bwanga. Like, he's just the most lethal counterattacking player in the entire league. Like, if you give him space in behind, he will torch you. And that's what happened multiple times. And like Yoshida is a step behind in terms of his athleticism. So you're asking him to just do way too much. If you're going to play Sanabria in this match, you need to sit behind the ball and play on the counter. We didn't do that at all through the first 45 minutes. When we started playing well, it was because we finally played a long ball in deep, kind of off a counter where we got a corner, and then we scored. And so it just frustrates me that we have this like one-way thinking of like we're going to hold the ball for long stretches of the match. We're going to hold it for 55 to 60% when I don't think this team in these big matches against teams that like to be without the ball. Like honestly, like if I was to point this to you, Mila, and ask you like LAFC scouting report, do you want to give them the ball? What would you say?
I mean, I think the possession is fine at the end of the day. If we're gonna hold possession with purpose, it's fine. But to not do anything with possession and then just allow them to counter on us is a big thing.
I mean, but are we gonna hold possession?
No,
Like
but I don't think
that's the
you.
thing. Like we're not holding it with possession with Sanabria. Like
No,
that's
that's
not his.
the thing. They're not set up to hold possession with this team.
Yeah,
But
sorry. That's maybe
that
that's where
can
the
just
bigger
be the
point
way
is.
the game rolls out. That's the confusing part for me is like why did we run with this team and then go on to keep so much possession of the ball, but then again, like sometimes the game just falls like that. Like you said, they were so bad at keeping the ball that maybe it just ended up with us having more possession. A lot of my qualms with this game are probably Garza's positioning,
It's fair.
uh, and whether that's a Vanny thing or a him thing. Starting to think it's a little more him though, because it's just every once in a while it just kicks back in, and it could be a result of the formation change or the personnel change in this game that led to those decisions for him. But it's a little scary. Even though he on paper has a good rating in this game, like I'm not convinced.
No, no, and I think your positioning point is right. I just I've seen this out of Vanny's center backs. Like he did this with Zonka too. Like the whole point is to step into the midfield and try to take away a player. Now, I don't know if I
Yeah, but
necessarily
that's
agree
what I
with
don't get,
15
you
yards
know?
of that from a Vanny structure setup,
Well,
like,
why the fuck are we bringing in Sanabria to do that job and then having
and then
Garces
not let him
also
do it.
do that job? And like
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
and then
Knowing they have the counterattack, like you're pulling your fastest defender up into the midfield, it
yep.
makes zero sense.
Honestly,
But
the
that's
reason
where like if this is of anything, like what the fuck, bro? Like you should not be doing that. That's unacceptable. This is a Garces thing. That's a little more like what it seems like to me. I feel like a coach should realize that that's not what you should be doing against this team. And this was more a result of the player not having the IQ to understand the consequences of his actions in this game.
the third goal is the one that I point to as like I think that was on Garces. Like he just pushed way too far up. I don't think there was any
Yeah,
need to pick up Bawanga
definitely.
in that position.
I think for the third goal, that one was obviously his fault. And
Yeah,
just from a critical point of view, I honestly think you can point to him in some way, shape, or form for all of
absolutely.
those. And whether they are directly his fault or not, like you don't want to be pointing to one player, especially in the center of the defense that is always involved in everything. And like you said, Yoshida's a step behind it, but he saved our asses, not just offensively last game. He cut out
No,
some dangerous crosses. He had energy, like he kept us composed towards the end of the game. All of this from a guy that's towards the end of his career, and then this Garces guy, like we know what he can do physically, but it doesn't there doesn't seem to be any growth in the mental or IQ department for me, and that's concerning, especially with the upcoming fixture and our injuries.
no. All of your points are fair when it comes to Garces. Like I'm not. It just sucks because I can't even be like, hey, let's sit him. you know, like we have to sit Maya because he's hurt, and we'll get into that in the Houston
Mm,
preview. But like if you sit Garces, you're putting in Zonka, and it's funny because like I think in any other team, any other iteration of this team, like Garces probably isn't starting. I think to your point of like Vanny and Yoshida both not having trust in him pretty often has been kind of clear, and we have no one else to turn to.
hmm
It's into a summer transfer kind of topic, not even just for this year, but years moving forward. Like that is such a massive hole in this team that is going to have to be filled. Whether that's finding someone who can be the steadier player over the course of a season, or if that's just a player that can wrangle him in, but also like have some athletic tools to him. Like
hmm
Yoshida, I think has the ability to wrangle him in and kind of like figure him out and be like an IQ player next to him, but he doesn't have the athletic tools anymore.
He doesn't have the time.
Yeah,
It just if there is progression with the Garces, I think it's going to take a very long time, and that's the issue with this team is like we don't have time. None of these people have time. You're either going to
yeah,
be gone in the next couple of years because you're not cutting it, skill wise, talent wise, or you're on the older end, like you're on the later end of your career, and you're going to be out of football in a couple of years, maybe next year. So it's
yeah.
like clock's ticking for all all ages of this team, I think. And especially with the center back position, I think we've just been settling.
It's probably a good way of putting it.
And if you look at just some of the names we've had, like yes, they're good, but we definitely can go out and get better. Whether it's just the squad structure that prevents us, or like we have some affinity to these players, like who knows? But I think that's the best way to describe it is we've just been settling. Because even if we kept Neil, I feel like we were settling in that position. Um, this could just be because we went really heavy DP wise offensively.
Yeah,
Um, and then I guess some of our international spots are still to those older players. So this could change drastically within the next couple months, but
I'm
that
fully expecting it to.
defense, yeah.
Yeah, you would hope so.
I mean, I'd hope that if I mean, and I looked at the standings and what it looked like last year. Like before we do get positive, like this team making the playoffs would have to win pretty much out.
Every game.
Like
Yeah.
I think last year's benchmark for ninth was 47 points. We are sitting at 16. There's 10 matches left. Like if you're putting the math together, like that's not realistic. I think the realistic shot for success is winning potentially Leagues Cup and then the trophy at the end of the year, which of course we could potentially win a trophy at the end of the year in our worst season because that's how that works. But yeah, it's this team needs to be reshuffled and it needs to be built around Ricky again, and we'll see. I think there's going to be some big changes. At least I'd hope there is, because if you're not doing that, then I think you're relating bad process with the hope, which is just that's silly, and I don't think that Kuntz and Vanny are both looking at that as a viable solution.
Yeah. The issue I feel with making changes is it's always the issue with the Galaxy being so tight up against the cap space. If we're going to get anyone, we have to move people. And when we're talking about worst defense in the league, 48 goals conceded, uh, it feels like the only solution is going to be a total overhaul of that center back position. We've got 3 center backs right there. Maybe it's time to move all 3, bring all 3 new ones. But I mean, that brings up its whole list of issues as well. You lose people who know the system. You're counting on having an entirely new back line who doesn't necessarily is going to take some time for them to learn Vanny's possession heavy system. If we're going to have everybody learning that at the same time, that's pretty risky as well. Uh, do we make any improvements in that case if we're counting on new people who probably will be making mistakes versus the people now who make mistakes? Do we continue building with them? And I don't know. I don't see that being the Galaxy's MO, at least in the past couple of years, especially now with Will Kuntz. It feels like I trust the process type thing. I remember writing about this early in the season, but it feels like we're building towards something. I coined it 7 and 27. We have Greg Vanny until 27, or maybe 28. We have Ricky Puig until 27, and it feels like we're kind of building towards that. We've got young players that we've invested in now when we knew we were going to struggle. It's kind of like this is going to be the scratch year. Let's give them this year to learn. And then by 26, by 27, we're making strides to win another title. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I see Zonka staying. I feel like if Yoshida wants to keep playing, which I believe he does, he's going to stay. And I don't think they're going to move on from Garces either. So at most, I see one new backup coming in. But I mean, that's something we absolutely need. So it's a very interesting position the Galaxy have themselves in. They've, went all in. They've gambled. All their chips are on the table. And now we're just waiting probably a year or two to see if it pays off.
Yeah. I think for me personally, like I just want to see the change because I think that there is still something to play for when it comes to building momentum into next season. And if I can get someone learning the system in real game time at the back end here and can then leapfrog into the system next year and we can just hit the ground running, because I think that's what's going to be important. That means a lot more to me, than waiting until next winter, getting a center back, and then we're sitting in the same spot where like maybe I still think that Garces is better than this new guy. Like I want to have that kind of solution done and dusted by the end of the season. Like if Garces isn't good enough, I'd much rather be in a position come wintertime where we can get rid of Garces. But that's enough of negativity because I think that we did a lot of good. And it starts with the captain. Mila has met the captain. Mila, you've been singing Maya's praises all season in terms of his leadership and his energy and all that stuff. So, please.
I think that's his leadership has just been evident from the moment he got there. He came midway through a season and didn't really have too much of an adjustment period. And then after that half season, he got the armband immediately. I think that's just showing his character just easily for us to see as viewers and supporters. And then I think there's the grittier things that a captain might have to do, or the more experienced guy that might have to do. I think that shows in some of those little dog fights that happen, little cat fights, if you want to call it. Um, he goes in and he breaks up the fight. That's one thing. Yes, it is just like everyone calm the fuck down, play the game, focus on what we're trying to do. They're trying to distract us, want us to come back. Great. And then he goes on to not only score the goal, but just to be in the striker's position. And I know Vanny has been doing this late in games when we need a goal. but for him to do it against our rivals in the dying minutes of the game, and then also go to Cuevas right after to be like, that ball, you, great. Like, I think he just embodied what a captain is. Those 10 minutes perfectly. He already does it at a very high level, but I think that last 10 minutes of that game was really like, this is why he's a captain. This is why he has the armband, and this is why he's still here at this age. Even though he is getting slower, is aging physically, um, he's still mentally locked in, and he's ready to bring up not only our team but just the players around him. Uh, yeah, keep us level-headed even after the game. Not too excited. Just scored a winning goal. Uh,
Yeah.
Clearly tired in that interview, but he says we have to keep going. We have to keep working for 3 points, and he was upset that we didn't get the 3 points. Um, so I'm glad. I think a younger guy might have been a little more ecstatic about that outcome, but this is what we get from that experience. He knows that they need to be better. He voices that to the fans too. So it's on the field and off the field. I think he's just a perfect captain for us.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Like in a season where you've sucked super hard and to a certain extent, like what we just did for the first 15, 16 minutes, like you shouldn't be celebrating a draw, especially when it was a game where if you were getting a draw, like we probably could have won the game if you play a little better.
Mm-hmm. Lock up
But
shop a little bit.
yeah, I mean, just such a captain moment though. Like you need a goal. You need that. With the Galaxy needed that more than anything. I think that the fans to a certain extent needed it. I think this rivalry, this game reminded me so much of that Rose Bowl game when we sucked, where you can just feel like there's an edge, and if you can have that edge and that leadership and the momentum to push you further, that's what matters. And Maya Yoshida over the last 2 or 3 seasons here has been the definition of what every Galaxy player should be, which is smart and works hard and cares. Like I don't think there's been a lot of international players that have come over in his situation and cared as much as Maya has. And he even and we've talked about it. He had to take a pay cut. He still wears the armband and he still shows up every match. He got hurt in this match. Like he's a beaut, and I'm so happy he's our captain. And for that moment, I think for him, if this is his last season, like it's just a beautiful send off in a certain way. So good for Maya. This is kind of where I'm at. What did you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of changes in that second half, and it's almost a shame that we didn't make them sooner because I do feel like that second half was a lot better. First off, bringing in Fagundes at the 45-minute mark, I feel like that brought us back to having some more control, some more steady, just ball possession. The second half saw a massive reduction, I feel like, in chances for LAFC, and I think that's a big part of that, just having that steady control, someone who can distribute it. Another change I liked right at the half was swapping Peck and Paintsel. I'm a really big fan of that. When each of them are on their preferred wing, I feel like they just default to cutting inside, trying to find a shot. And usually they don't find it and they just end up playing it off, plays to die. But when they're on their opposite foot, it really just incentivizes them to drive at the defense, try to make something happen, put a ball into the box. So I love seeing that directness from them. Uh, that's I feel like was another positive change that we made. Having Fagundes, having some direct wingers already, that really changes the outlook of what the game looks like. Makes Marco Royce get a lot more involved, and that's what got us that second goal. Some really nice 1-2 touches, combination play over on that right side with Peck there. We saw Nascimento getting involved, but there was just a series. It was like 5-10 minutes where they're in that little right wing pocket, just passing the ball between amongst themselves, and it looked really nice. Just some nice tiki taka, and it got us that second goal. So all of those changes directly leading to getting us right back into the game. And we see even more around the 80th minute mark. Cuevas, we see Nelson come in. Uh, and I mean, both of those I feel like were game changers. But the highlight is definitely on Cuevas with that great ball. I feel like every time he comes in, he shows, he proves why he deserves some more minutes. This is a great
Sorry,
moment as well. But
I had to throw up the image.
Diego Fagundez, that's another thing he gives you is that shithousery. Just a little bit more of that edge. We talked about Sanabria giving us that, but I feel like Fagundez has that in
Yeah,
spades as well.
that's
He's
totally fair.
definitely a pit bull in that midfield position. So I love seeing that. I love Cuevas, getting involved in there as well. But there's it's just those changes that it makes you wonder, why didn't we start the game this way? If we did start the game like that, things might be a little bit different. But I mean, I guess credit where credit's due for Vanny for making those changes. But I mean, it's the same, I guess, criticism that those come in the 80th minute. You want to see those maybe a little bit sooner. If they
Yeah.
do come sooner, I mean, the tide had totally changed in the game. I wasn't at the stadium, but I'm sure there was a lot of tension seeing how much we had the ball, how much we were around their 18, and yeah, just a fantastic delivery, fantastic finish, but great way for the Galaxy to end the game. Great way for Vanny, maybe get some confidence in him to know that the guys that he's bringing in, he can count on them a little bit more. Maybe he can have some more confidence making those changes a little bit earlier, maybe starting them. Would love to see maybe Cuevas start with Peck not available. We'll see what ends up happening there. I don't think I want to see Fagundez up in that winger role again. I like him where he is right now, deep, kind of dictating the play. I said this, so one of the first times he was up there, but it's a very Diego Pirlo-esque role. And I feel like it suits him. He's an experienced player, and I feel like that was one of the key changes. If we have to, pick one thing, I think it was that getting Fagundez in and having him just circulate the ball, get the ball to Royce and get the ball to Peck, to Paintsel, who are on those wings being direct. It's this wonderful butterfly effect that I feel like, it brought us back to life in this game, and it got us a point. So I like to see these changes. I like to see how the game ends, but at the same time, we're not going to be celebrating a draw, especially not after the game we had at home against Dallas. I mean, we want to see a lot more of that bite straight from the beginning, and that's another problem I feel like the Galaxy have had for a couple of seasons now. Starting games slow, they need a punch in the teeth to sort of wake up. If we start games the way we end them, I feel like maybe our record looks a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna, I feel like, talk about Houston next. We have probably Zonka into the lineup, a couple of changes there. We'll see, and it's tough situation when we absolutely need all 3 points if we want to keep on staying alive.
Yeah, just a microcosm of the entire year, like bittersweet. Like even when we perform well, it's like there's something to counter not feeling great about it. Like I came on the show with Dari last episode and ripped into Gabriel Peck. I was very disappointed in the performance midweek. I thought that he was super crap. Like he was just taking shots to take shots. They weren't ever close. And it was like, what are we doing here? And then he comes literally at the end of the week here, and then he just fucking lights it up. And it makes you just wonder the whole time, is like, where are these players going? Like half of the games they're not there. Half of the games they are. Like Peck was phenomenal. He gets a goal and assist because Nascimento stole apparently his second goal. According to the thing. So a goal and an assist, but this was his best match in like 10. Like he was super dynamic.
Maybe of the season.
You could probably argue of the season. Yeah. Like he was just direct. And I don't know where this goes. Like he's gotten so involved in the link up and build up of the game where I think he's overthinking everything. In this match with limited opportunities where he was just told, get the ball and go into the box and score, it was very plain and simple, like cut in shot. And I think he only had 2 shots on goal, technically 1 because Nascimento steals 1. But that's all I need. I don't need Peck to be firing off 7, 8 shots. I think that he can get high enough quality chances with his ability to have 2 or 3 and bury 2 or 3. I don't need to see him taking 5 or 6 shots because I don't think that's necessarily like his best attribute is his finishing, but it's him getting into spaces to finish. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was like the best we've seen it. To your point about the tactical switch of him and Paintsel, that was the first time in probably a month and a half that we've seen those two link up when it hasn't just been a long switch, which was also important. Like if they can get Royce, Paintsel, and Peck like combining together, like that's almost unstoppable. Like there's no team that can honestly keep up with that. So hopefully that maybe they can build some confidence together. That's what it kind of felt like.
Who knew?
And
Get your DPs to play together, and things might go well.
you know, these are the questions that I have with Vanny on like a small level. Is we haven't done the small things right enough this year. It's not big picture stuff. Like I know what I'm getting out of Vanny, but that stuff, like I feel like you have to nail. And like we took out one cog and we've dropped a complete level. Like Ricky shouldn't erase all those mistakes, and like adding him back in doesn't erase or like build up the foundation again. Like those things you have to get structurally right to then put Ricky back into.
That's right.
Yeah. So Peck, kind of kudos, good stuff from me. But a draw's a draw. A draw's a draw. And we move on to the next game. After a shitty, stupid midweek all-star game. I hate it. I hate it so much. So dumb. Houston has been pretty crap this season. Their best performer is Jack McGlynn. He was USMNT kind of standout in the friendlies and stuff. He's really, really good. But he plays in a deeper role for Houston, so he likes to get the ball and then spray it out to their wingers. But he's got a shot on him, and if you give him space, he will exploit it. Trying to think of what I know out of Houston here. Obviously, they have Bond, so familiar face there. Dorsey's a pretty serviceable right back, so Painsel's going to have some stuff to deal with Dorsey. It's pretty much all I know. They haven't been good. I think they've been better of late, and we're playing in Houston, which you play in Texas in this time of year, like you're kind of just fucked. Yeah. The weather's shit. It's hot. There's usually a storm. That's all I've got from Houston. Do you guys have anything on Houston?
I guess on that same point, when you think about how delicate this Galaxy team has been on the road, I don't think they've picked up a win on the road yet. And, I think back to the performance. Where was it that they had that delay? Was that Colorado?
Yeah.
Where just there's little things that completely throw them off. And we're talking about, massive heat. They struggle, in Austin, I would imagine for similar reasons. But it doesn't fill you with the most confidence. But it again, you're looking at the standings. It feels like a winnable game. And it must be. It's a 6-pointer. Houston are in 11th place, a couple points obviously above us, but we win that. It's a big switch point flip for us. It's, any little thing to get us closer to that 9th place spot. Yeah. We need to take, especially after we did it in Dallas. They were the 9th place team at that time. That was a massive, massive missed opportunity. We literally don't have any more spots to miss opportunities like that again. No. This time we're away. So we're away with probably Zonka in our back line. We talk about leaving spaces behind. When he steps up, it's not, it's not the most confidence-inducing sight. So it feels winnable, but there's all these little things kind of going against the Galaxy in this. And I mean, every single game from now on is going to be a test of endurance, mentality, fortitude. We're going to need 11 Maya Yoshidas. Unfortunately, this week we don't have one. But, I mean, he's a leader. I'm hoping he can, be a little bit contagious. But I think the team knows at this point it's a do or die. So it's going to be a chance for us to see, are they going to go and have another performance like at the end of LAFC where they fight and they show who they are, they show their personality, they show their grit, or are they going to roll over, die, and, look forward to Leagues Cup, which I don't know if any of us are a fan of, but it's just massive.
Yeah. I think going back to your question about Houston, I have nothing to say about them. I think, like Andrew is basically saying, for the rest of the year, it comes down to what we can do to win games. Yeah. And not what's in front of us, just because we have to win every game. So I think we just need to focus on what we can do. And like you mentioned, we have a Zonka starting in the back.
Yeah.
We know this. We know we need to win. Vanny needs to figure out how to make that work or not play.
Yeah.
That's what scares me, because I don't think Vanny knows how to do that. And I also don't know if we have a lot to work with. So we might have to get a little creative, and I haven't seen him get very creative.
He hasn't. I think I'm of the mind that they have an understanding that the regular season is over, and now it's towards building to next year, and so I think that Peck also rests, and I think we're out both him and Yoshida because I think Leagues Cup is going to be important. Does Leagues Cup get you a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot?
That's a good question. I don't
Trying
think
to
so.
think.
I don't think it did last season. I don't know if that changed, but I don't think it did.
Who won it last year? I can't even remember. Leagues Cup.
I'll look real quick.
You look it up, but I think that we're gonna prioritize winning trophies this season and hopefully start to build better play. So I'm gonna go with the assumption that Cuevas is starting at right wing.
Columbus?
Columbus won it?
Was it Columbus? Or was that one of the earlier games?
I can't even remember. I know Miami won it 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was wait, no, that doesn't.
But then they got in because they were the Supporter Shield winner. We got in because we won the cup.
Yeah, it was Columbus.
AFC
3-1 Columbus.
Fuck. I can't remember who finished in second in the East last year because Columbus also was first in the East last year. Was it Columbus? Had to have been.
Was it not Miami?
No, it was Miami. Sorry. So I think was Columbus second?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I think there was a third team. Vancouver got in because we won the league and LAFC got in first. I think it might be something related to the winner. So I think if you win, you give yourself a shot at the next one. I could be totally wrong there, but I don't even know.
It's a trophy, you got to go and try to win it.
Oh yeah, in a season like this too, like that is a big bolstering to the project itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you get an automatic entry to the round of 16 if you win Leagues Cup.
So yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive, and for that reason, like if there was any game to give guys a rest, and it essentially be kind of like a full 2-week break before this, or it's like midweek next week, isn't it? The start.
I believe so.
Like that's my number one priority. So if Peck needs a rest, you give him a rest. I don't think anyone else can necessarily get a rest. I don't think we have enough players to do that. But so your everything's the same except you probably slot in Zonka and Cuevas. So Cuevas has got a shot here. I'm gonna just jump into star players and predictions. He's my star player. Yeah, he's my star player, and I think it's going to be off of him putting in those crosses, and I think he's going to be finding Nascimento because we haven't seen that enough since he's gotten into the starting 11. Is kind of just putting the ball in the mixer and seeing if he can get on the end of it.
I don't think that's his game, to be honest.
It might not be.
Way that
he mentioned he's a big build-up guy. He loves to drop deep, link up with Royce, Peck especially, but yeah. I mean, he's a tall kid. I think he wouldn't necessarily struggle too much at that. I feel like he could maybe have some success in that.
But even on that Peck goal, like he made the run that opened up the space. And
I
so
feel like we wouldn't be yanking Nascimento off for Ramirez if once we start spamming crosses. If Nascimento had any of them,
that's a good point.
That's fair. I also haven't seen,
that's my biggest pet peeve.
Played a full 90.
No, he gets taken off because we fucking suck and we need a goal and we're gonna spam crosses and they want the tall guy to be in there so they could take fucking pressure off Yoshida. That's literally what they're doing. Like Ramirez is only in there so Yoshida can get more open.
Dude, you just summarized watching Manchester United all season. So I haven't seen this. No, you might be right.
I do see what you're saying. Yeah. I really like Cuevas. I think he still has a little rust that he needs to shake off, but
yeah, that's fair.
I think that'll come. In terms of those crosses, though, I don't see how we're gonna get anyone on the end of those.
It'd have to be on the counter, huh? Like if you're countering and then he's got a decent early ball. Like if you can get Paintsel in space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have to be like more of like an early cross in this space rather than like an actual like cross to finish. I think I just don't see it happening.
A cut back to Royce. Yeah, maybe it's less of a cross and more of just like he creates good angles and he is so dangerous as a crosser, and that's going to be on Houston's like scouting report. It's just, hey, look, this guy likes to whip in the ball. So there might be some openings, some space to do that. Like, that's not Yamane's trait. So, like, we haven't really – and Peck doesn't put in a ball either. So maybe we're going to put them on the back foot in that sense. So I'm going to hope that he starts and he's my star player and we win. We're not keeping a clean sheet.
I'd be very
No
happy.
shot.
But I find it hard. I think that'd be great if he did it, but I think it'd be really difficult with no targets.
You're probably right.
Unless he scores a bang.
He could. He scored last time he started.
Accidental
He scored the
cross
last
into
time he
goal.
started. I'll go 2-1 for my prediction. I'm not too confident in this one. Yeah, someone else go. Maybe more positive.
I feel like if we're gonna have success in this game on the attacking front, it's gonna be in that link up on the wings. Our only goal in open play, I guess not really, but I feel like our best constructed goal was the second one, I guess, Nascimento's, but there's just really good link up. Like we talked about a little bit earlier. Just those 1-2 touches, fast passing, make the defense move around, make them chase your shadow. With Marco Royce, Peck, I think Cuevas is kind of cooked for that as well. He's quick, shifty. We got to make most use of that and, get it to Peck to have a shot, get it to Nasi to have a shot, but create some havoc around the box and get it in. So I feel like it's going to be that rather than maybe the crossing or anything else. It's going to be this interplay. Can we get that right? That's, I think, the Galaxy's MO. That's what we're most suited for. So I would want to see that. I want to see some link up. I want to see those second runs, a run from Nasi, a run from Cuevas to open up space, those dummy runs, things like that. It's all got to come together. So I feel like that's going to be the MO. I'm going to say my star player is Marco Royce. He's really going to be the key. He got an assist that same way against LAFC. He's been on a little bit of a tear, a little bit of a stop in that Downs game, but still he's on 12 and 13, I believe, maybe 13 and 14 contributions. I think if we can get him the ball, move some space around him, he's going to be the guy to unlock this attack, to unlock Houston. Clean sheet is difficult. Houston aren't a team that scored that much, but I mean, we conceded, I believe it was twice against Dallas, and they score less. So it's when you think again about Cuevas being a little bit attacking, Garces being back there, maybe chasing things down, but being aggressive. Zonka not maybe having the IQ we would expect of someone of his experience. It's definitely a shaky situation. I'm going to go with a 2-1 as well. Royce as my star player.
Nice.
Sir Mila.
I want to go Nascimento as my star player for the opposite reasons that Dylan has Cuevas as his star player. But like Andrew was talking about, he likes that build-up. In my head, I'm envisioning a quick 1-2 with like a Royce or another one of our midfielders to get him or another player open. I've seen him do it a couple times in the Galaxy shirt already. That tends to be like the most exciting parts of this game for me. He can just quickly make a chance happen, whereas before we were just so slow and stagnant going forward. He can make the little things turn into a big chance for us, so I'm hoping he can get that. Obviously, would love to see him get a little more independent chances, stuff where he looks like a real natural goal scorer, just someone with an eye for goal and a hunger. Right now, to me, he looks like a very technical footballer, someone that likes to get in the mix in terms of physicality, letting the defender know that he's there. But right now, there's just that lack of that venom behind his strikes and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that'll happen this game. I don't want to see Ramirez on the pitch anymore this season. I'm so tired of it. And if Yoshida's not playing, I actually don't think Ramirez should touch the pitch in this game. There's no reason to put him on. So I'm gonna go 1-0 though.
1-0. Sanka in the back line. Sometimes you pull out these predictions and I go, there's no way. And then it happens. So I can't even be like, That's not gonna happen, dude.
Bro, we're
You
gonna
tend
have
get these
to we're
right.
gonna have Nascimento run in circles with the ball after scoring the opener in the first.
Oh, that's
Do you know when you put the rubber band on the controller,
yeah. Yeah.
they can run in circles?
So
That's what we gotta do. We
finish
gotta
the
take our
squat pedal.
goal. Exactly. We gotta take our goal and then run away with it and maybe go away from the controller for a little bit after that. Because the controller tends to be where we make our mistakes. I think we shoot ourselves in the foot a lot. So
We do. Yeah,
show up and fucking don't try too hard, and I think we'll be okay.
But show up is definitely the key word there.
Oh yeah, show up, try, but don't try
Yeah.
too hard.
Yeah. Hey man, I hope that we win, because then it'll be an uplifting pod with a very, very special guest. I haven't mentioned that, but a very, very special guest next week. So hopefully we can have something very enjoyable to talk about, instead of having a really shitty weekend and then going into a pod with a special guest, because that's no fun.
Marco
Even though I
Roy.
think it actually might make the pod better if it is crappy, low key.
Yeah, I'd love to see what our guest has to say after a shitty performance. I feel like he'd be great at that.
Yeah, good point. Well, I have nothing more to say on the Galaxy front. A gritty 3-3 draw. Hopefully some signs of life. Andrew, please plug your socials, and then we will get out of here.
Thank you. One last thing I'll say before I do that is I'll plug you a little bit. Some really, really great stuff coming from Dylan on his TikTok, his socials,
Thanks.
his mostly footy walks. What's it called? Late Night FC, After Hours
After
FC.
Hours
FC.
Definitely check that out. Some really great stuff coming from Dylan. Really, really great commentary there. It's worth checking out. For myself, if you want to see me yapping in written or in audio form, you can find it at NGF Andrew, like you see on the screen there, on Twitter. Nuestra Galaxia Futbolera on Instagram. We got clips from pressers with Vanny, with some of the players that we'll be seeing in these upcoming games. So feel free to check that out. We'll have a new article on Los Angeles Sports Nation. It has to come out today, so keep an eye out for that. But every Thursday, we have something out for you guys. Coverage of the Galaxy from the press box. Lots of it inspired by the conversation we have here with these gents. So, follow us, follow the podcast, follow that stuff, and, we'll survive this season one way or another, but let's do it together.
Yeah, we are super raw in all formats. So now you're getting the raw emotions, and I think we all pride ourselves on trying to be as genuine and honest as possible. So Andrew, I appreciate your love there, and yeah, if you want to follow my stuff, go ahead. But from myself, Andrew, Mila, and the dog that was in Mila's frame the whole time that also bounced out when we were bouncing out, we have been Clash of Cosmos. This has been episode 2, and we will see you guys in the next one.
LA, Highland champions! They're going to go alone. Still back! What a goal! It's 6. They just cannot stop scoring. The volley from Bono. Yes! San Jose carved open with a world-class pass from Ricky Pooch. Glittering Galaxy, and Landon Donovan is the match winner.